When I first moved into my apartment, everything felt fine. It was small, cheap, and a little rundown, but it was my first place alone after college, and I was proud of it. The neighbors kept to themselves. The building had a weird smell, like old wood and something slightly rotten, but I figured it was just years of bad maintenance. It wasn't until the third week that things started to feel off. It began small. I'd come home from work and notice something had been moved. Not big things, just subtle. A mug not where I left it, a kitchen drawer left open. At first, I blamed myself. Maybe I was rushing in the morning. Maybe I was tired. But then, the food started disappearing. Granola bars, cheese slices, half a sandwich I didn't know I ate. I thought maybe I had mice, or the building was just sketchy. So I started locking my cabinets, labeling things in the fridge. I even placed a strip of masking tape over the freezer door to see if it was touched. The next day, the tape was peeled off, perfectly, like someone didn't want me to notice, but I did. That's when I started getting scared. I told a friend about it. She joked that I had a ghost or something, but offered to let me borrow a cheap indoor camera. I set it up in the kitchen, pointing towards the fridge in the living room, and went to work the next morning. That night, I sat on my bed, heart racing, and opened the footage. For the first few hours, nothing, just still, empty air. Then, at 1:43 p.m., movement from the hallway. Someone emerged from the crawl space, above the coat closet. A woman, pale, thin, wearing a hoodie. She climbed down slowly, barefoot, and walked into the kitchen like she'd done it 100 times. She opened my fridge, ate food with her hands, drank milk straight from the carton. Then she wiped her face on my dish towel and disappeared again, back into the wall. I nearly threw up. I called the police. They searched the apartment, found the crawl space. Inside, tucked in the dark, a stained mattress, food wrappers, my missing silverware, a notebook full of writing. They didn't show me what was in the notebook, but one officer read a page, looked at me and said, "You need to stay somewhere else for a while." They found her 2 nights later, hiding in the basement. Apparently she'd been living in the building for months. She knew how to move silently, only came out when I was gone or sleeping. She had memorized my schedule, learned where the door didn't creak, used my bathroom when I was showering with the fan on. The worst part? She wasn't the first. The landlord admitted, quietly, that years ago, something similar had happened in another unit. They sealed up the crawl spaces, but over time, tenants broke through, or just forgot. That building had holes in it, spaces no one checked, places where someone could live for months without being seen. This kind of thing happens more than people realize. There are real cases, many, where squatters have lived in walls, attics, even inside store ceilings. Sometimes they just want shelter. Other times, they're watching. I moved out the next day. I don't care if I lose the deposit, but I haven't slept well since. Not because I think she followed me, but because I keep wondering, what if she wasn't alone? What if someone else is still in there? And what if they're not in the walls this time? What if they're just really good at hiding?